Could the Atlanta Falcons be on the verge of pulling off the most shocking defensive upgrade in franchise history? Or are they about to walk into a nightmare that could cripple their future? The NFL world exploded this week when Micah Parsons dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through Dallas and beyond. After months of contract negotiations that went nowhere, the superstar linebacker finally had enough. In a social media post that felt like a dagger to Cowboys fans everywhere, Parsons made it crystal clear he's done with Dallas. Still, I stayed quiet, but after repeated criticism of myself and all the narratives, I made the difficult decision to no longer want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. My trade request has been personally sent to Stephen Jones, Parsons wrote, essentially lighting the bridge on fire behind him. Now here's where things get absolutely fascinating for Falcons fans. While every team in the league is probably making phone calls about Parsons, Atlanta might have a secret weapon that nobody's talking about. It's not their salary cap space, though that helps. It's not their need for pass rush help, though that's obvious. It's something much more subtle but potentially game-changing. David Mulugheta. Remember that name, because it might be the key to everything. Parsons' agent doesn't just represent him. He's already got his fingerprints all over the Falcons roster. Jesse Bates, A.J. Terrell, Kyle Pitts, all Mulugheta clients. That's not just a coincidence. That's a potential pipeline that could make Atlanta the frontrunner in what's about to become the most intense bidding war of the decade. Think about what that relationship means in practical terms. Mulugheta already knows the Falcons organization inside and out. He understands their culture, their financial situation, their long-term vision. More importantly, he's got established trust with Terry Fontenot and the front office. When agents and general managers have that kind of working relationship, deals that seem impossible on paper suddenly become very possible. But here's where the math gets really interesting. The Falcons aren't just another team with cap space. They're positioned perfectly for a move like this. Parsons' extension wouldn't even kick in until 2026, which means Atlanta could absorb his current deal and then work on the long-term numbers with breathing room. Meanwhile, their young defensive studs like James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker are still on those beautiful rookie contracts that give you maximum production at minimum cost. The financial flexibility is staggering when you break it down. The Falcons have been smart about their salary cap management, and they're not locked into any massive contracts that will prevent them from making a splash. They could literally pay Parsons whatever he wants without breaking their long-term planning. That's the kind of luxury that most teams in this league can only dream about. Now, there's one massive elephant in the room that we can't ignore. Atlanta traded away their 2026 first-round pick to move up in last year's draft. That's the kind of asset that Dallas would absolutely demand in any Parsons deal. Without that pick, conventional wisdom says the Falcons are out of the running before they even start. But former Falcons quarterback Kurt Benkert isn't buying that logic for a second. His take on social media was about as direct as you can get. Micah Parsons to the Falcons would make a lot of sense. I don't care what it costs. I don't care how much future capital you have to send. Go get him. Benkert's perspective carries weight because he understands what it means to build a championship-caliber roster. Sometimes you have to mortgage the future for the right player, and Parsons might just be that guy. The question isn't whether he's worth it. The question is whether Atlanta can be creative enough to make the numbers work without that first-round pick. Here's what a potential package might look like. Multiple second- and third-round picks spread across several years. Maybe a quality veteran player to sweeten the deal, and probably some conditional picks based on performance. It's not the traditional blueprint for a superstar trade, but desperate teams make desperate decisions. If Dallas really wants Parsons gone, they might take less than market value just to move on. But let's talk about what acquiring Parsons would actually mean for this Falcons defense. We're already looking at a unit that's been quietly building into something special. James Pierce Jr. has been everything they hoped for as a rookie. Jalen Walker brings that versatility that modern defenses crave. David Onyemata anchors the middle, and Leonard Floyd provides veteran leadership and consistent pressure. Now imagine adding Parsons to that mix. You're not just getting one of the most explosive pass rushers in the league. You're getting a chess piece that defensive coordinators dream about. Parsons can rush from anywhere, cover receivers, stop the run, and create havoc in ways that most players simply can't. The combination of his skills with what Atlanta already has will create matchup nightmares for every offensive coordinator in the NFC. Think about facing the Falcons' offense and defense with Parsons in the lineup, Michael Penix Jr., and that explosive offense puts points on the board and forces teams to throw the ball. Meanwhile, Parsons and company are coming after quarterbacks with relentless pressure. That's the kind of formula that wins playoff games and makes deep runs. The timing couldn't be more perfect either. The Falcons are clearly in win-now mode with veterans like Kirk Cousins and key players approaching their prime years. This isn't a rebuilding team that needs to be patient and develop young talent. This is a roster that's one or two pieces away from being legitimately dangerous in the NFC. Cowboys fans are probably hoping this is all just posturing, that Parsons and the organization will work things out behind closed doors. But when a player of his caliber makes his trade request public, there's usually no going back. The relationship is broken, and sometimes the best thing for everyone involved is a fresh start. For Dallas, trading Parsons would be admitting that their championship window with this core group is closed. For Atlanta, acquiring him would be announcing to the league that they're ready to make a serious run at a title. Those are the kinds of franchise-defining moments that separate pretenders from contenders. The dominoes are starting to fall, and Atlanta's positioned as well as any team to make this happen. They have the financial flexibility, the age of relationships, the roster fit, and the organizational appetite for a big move. The only question is whether Terry Fontenot has the creativity to structure a deal without that first-round pick. What do you think, Falcons faithful? Is Micah Parsons the missing piece that takes this team from playoff hopeful to championship contender? Would you be willing to trade multiple future picks to land him? Let me know in the comments what you think Atlanta should offer. And don't forget to hit that like button if you want to see the Falcons make this blockbuster move happen.